What's up, guys? Today we are bringing you the 10 mistakes you're making on a keto diet plus 2 bonus ones. We wanted to make a top 10. We came up with 12 though.
Bonus sounds fun, right?
Doing videos, Miley.
She wants to be part of it. So these next 12 ideas we're going to list, we came up with through our experiences with the keto diet over the past 2.5 years. We looked back on all of the mistakes we've made and also taken into account a lot of emails we get and questions. Mistake number 1, not focusing on how you feel.
Put it in the context of how you feel more than are you losing weight? It makes things easier. You're more in the mindset of trying to fuel your body and less in the mindset of, can I get away with this keto dessert right now? And then it still won't really affect me on the scale that much tomorrow. Once you're all healed up and you're feeling good, the weight loss will come. It'll be easy.
Internal health equals external health.
Number 2 is thinking it's just about the food. So basically thinking that none of your other habits have to change. You just sub out bad foods, sub in the keto foods, and that's pretty much all there is to it. It's easy. Nothing's easy. You have to make changes to the rest of your life. And the thing is, you can change your diet first and these other things will come. That's a good starting point, but there's other starting points too. It doesn't have to be starting keto, but thinking you can remain your same self and just start doing keto, that's not how it works. You can't watch Netflix every night and eat pork rinds instead of popcorn.
But working out for me always makes me feel good, even if I don't want to go to the gym. And it could be something as simple as taking a walk around the block when it's nice out. And reading has hugely improved my vocabulary, and it's great for right before bed because you're not getting the blaring light of Netflix or shows before you go to sleep. So, everything you do throughout your day plays into being a healthy, more well-rested person. So just remember that it's not all about the food, it's about everything. Number 3, forcing things. And it's really general because we as humans tend to force a lot of things that don't feel natural, that don't feel good, and we expect results to come out of them.
Yeah, you don't want to force things, but there's going to be some discomfort along the way also. It's not you just stay in your comfort zone, you do all of these easy things and magic happens. Doing any kind of fasting, if you don't think that's going to work for you, or at least give it a try, but if it's not something you like, there's no one true way to conquer all. You can try all these things, don't force it.
There was once upon a time, Matt was telling me 7 times a day he really wanted to do CrossFit. And all I would say is do CrossFit. Because I know that I'm not going to force myself to do CrossFit when it's not something I would ever want to do. And so I took a stance, and now we don't do CrossFit.
Good job. Number 4, being afraid to make mistakes and just overthinking everything. This is I think this is the biggest problem with most people starting keto. I guess it is pretty intimidating when you look at it compared to what most people are eating nowadays. It's a pretty big departure from the norm. With that being said, as with anything in life, thinking about it, researching it, having dreams and hopes about it, that doesn't do anything for you. You actually have to start doing it, and then you can figure tons of stuff out along the way. My favorite expression, ready, fire, aim. Fire before you totally calibrate in on what you're doing exactly. We've been doing this for over 2 years now, and we're still, fine-tuning things a little bit, figuring a lot of things out.
Number 5, comparing yourself to others. This is huge for me because I've gone through my entire life comparing myself to my Ivy League brother, to my skinnier friends, to the smarter law school students, and even to Matt, which makes no sense because he's 6'4", 190 pounds. It's only weighed on me negatively. I feel like I'm not good enough or what I'm doing is wrong, when in fact I'm doing what's best for me.
Compare yourself to your previous self.
Yes.
And are you making progress? Number 6, picking a side. Being a person that makes YouTube videos, I really have noticed this. This is a strong thing that people do. So you decide on something and then that's it. It's over. You're on this side, they're on the other side, they're the enemy. Tons of examples of this, Dr. Berg recommends 7 to 10 cups of vegetables a day. Why don't you guys recommend that? That's crazy. Dr. Berg's a doctor. He has more YouTube subscribers than you. You should all do the exact same thing. Just based on my 2 years of doing keto, I've come to this one conclusion. Dr. Berg's come to another, but he's still an amazing guy. You don't have to pick a side. You can try both and see what works best for you.
A lot of people have success following his protocol, and a lot of people have success following their own.
Intermittent fasting is a big one. You really just have to dig in and decide on a thing and defend it to the death. And when you really start identifying with something, it's just counter to progress. It removes the possibility in the future of you to take in new information and change your mind.
Be unbiased.
You don't want to be that way. You just have to be able to change your mind, basically.
It stunts your growth, right?
Big time.
Watch everything you enjoy and gather all the information and make your own educated guess or educated answer for what works best for you.
It's mostly about testing things out for yourself. These are all reasonable things to try.
Number 7, working around problems instead of through them.
Huge. I've done a lot of this, so I think that's why I notice a lot of people doing it. There's a lot of things people do to try working around their problems with food. Big ones are like intermittent fasting. There's tons of people that do intermittent fasting just for the benefits. You know, it's easier for them. It suits their lifestyle. Mm-hmm. But there's maybe even more people doing it because they think it's like a quick hack. They don't have to address the fact that they're eating way too much food on a daily basis. They think that, you know, I can just limit my eating window to 8 hours and that will solve the problem. It doesn't solve the problem because I've like tried this. You end up just eating more food in that window. And like one meal a day, you know, a lot of people have great success with it, but even more people do it as just like a workaround. You got to really work through your problems. And that's what we've been doing lately, eating 3, maybe 4 meals a day, like 3 meals and a substantial snack.
Right.
And it's just like, I need to be a person that can have a 600 calorie meal and then not eat afterwards.
The way we've worked through our problems is kind of pulling away from intermittent fasting altogether. We've found that eating earlier suits our lifestyle and gets ahead of the hunger for us because we're hungry people. We like to snack. We like to eat while we watch shows. And so the best way to deal with that is to not force these times and these rules around when I can eat, how much I can eat, and what I can eat, and just kind of make it more free-flowing.
When I'm eating the last meal, I'm just thinking about like, now it's 16 hours until I can eat again. And that's all I think about because I think about food a lot. So I'm like planning the meal. It's just not a good mental exercise for me personally. And I think there's probably a lot of other people in that same situation. Number 8, snacking. So we're big snackers. Most people doing keto are very anti-snack. And they're like, once you start doing keto, you'll never need to snack again. That's not my experience with it. I'm never going to not want to be snacking.
It hasn't changed since we've started keto.
Yeah, I'm about the snack life. So some things I do to incorporate that into my life without being too detrimental is like, instead of just mindlessly snacking, walking into the kitchen, grabbing some macadamia nuts, popping them, grabbing a string cheese, things like that, I have like a planned substantial snack to where I'll actually like get it all on a plate. You know, that's what I'm going to eat and that's it. So as opposed to sitting on the couch watching Netflix and eating pork rinds, almonds, things like that gets out of hand real quick because previously you were probably having popcorn or something that is not very calorie dense. You can just eat it for a long time and not have way too many calories. With keto things, it really adds up quickly. You don't have to totally stop snacking, although it's probably good if you do, but that's not realistic for everyone.
Right, and also find a snack that you like genuinely enjoy. Just because everyone eats macadamia nuts or avocados, and if you don't like those, doesn't mean you have to force those into your diet or force them as a snack. Yeah, snacking can be simple or it can be very difficult depending on how you look at it. Number 9, perfection over consistency is a mistake. Yeah. Being consistent is absolutely way more important than trying to be perfect every single day because that's going to tire you out. You're going to burn out quickly and it's not sustainable. Yeah. So if you can find that, you know, you're hitting your macros some days of the week, or you can fast maybe 1 or 2 days a week if you enjoy it and not doing everything perfect every single day, that's better over months, years span of time, as opposed to being perfect for 2 weeks and then burning out and giving up on the diet. Yeah,
this is the whole New Year's effect, basically. You see all these people in the gym, they're doing 2-hour high-intensity workouts. Then they're gone in 2 weeks. They're trying to be perfect. I'm sure their diet's amazing for like 2 weeks also. And then like day 20, they're watching Netflix. I said watching Netflix like 6 times this video. And they're just eating potato chips. You just have to make these small changes and do them consistently. That's the key. Like I've realized this now that I'm 29 years old. I'm just handing down all these life lessons. Up until this point, like up until starting KetoConnect, I was very much into reading all these self-help books. I would have spurts of time where I was perfect. I did everything right for like 2 weeks. This is what I keep doing. Like I get into a new hobby or like some new skill I want to learn. And I learn it all really quick, but then I don't pursue it. Jack of all trades, a master of none.
A fad dieter even.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing. But when you really want to master something, it doesn't happen quickly. It happens slowly. 10, putting pleasure over your health.
Everyone does this every single day. you can't deny it.
Yeah, because it's tough because there's like a fine line. You want to enjoy life. You want to do what life has to offer. So like, when you're in your mid-20s, you should probably be doing mushrooms and LSD every weekend. Not every weekend, but do them once in a while. When you think of it like this, it just makes total sense. Like you're putting something in your mouth, you're going to enjoy it for 2 minutes. That's it. Like that's the sacrifice you're making, the 2 minutes. Obviously, like, it's very addictive, very highly pleasurable. Mm-hmm. It really just like sets you back as far as your health goes, your diet goes, even your mental state, your focus. I'm getting to the point where I can kind of set that aside and be like, I don't need a piece of cake just because it tastes good for the 10 minutes that I'm eating it.
And lucky for us, we're not going out all the time. We're not doing Taco Tuesdays or have a ton of friends. So it's a lot easier. But a lot of you do have really robust social lives, or you have to...
good word.
Thank
you have been reading.
Or you have to go to happy hours after work with your coworkers because it's kind of a mandatory thing. When it comes down to those things, you also have to remind yourself you're going to have to make some sacrifices if you want to hit certain goals, if you want to have better overall health, if you want to have more control over your relationship with food. Sacrifices aren't a bad thing. I think we've given it a bad perception, right?
I think we just came up with a 13th mistake you guys are all making. You have friends. Don't have friends. That makes it so much easier.
Yeah. So 11, fat phobia. A lot of people have trouble hitting their fat macros. They ask, how do I do it? How do I do it? But maybe it's just that you're really scared of consuming all that fat at once or throughout the day. And that just needs to change. Unfortunately, that's the best way to say it, right?
And the longer you do this, the more you'll pick up on like, oh, I eat the good high-fat foods, the better I feel.
Right.
So like for me, I look at a stick of butter the way that I would previously look at like...
a Krispy Kreme donut.
No, not a Krispy
cereal.
I look at a stick of butter the way that I used to look at like a nice bed of spinach and a coffee. Like it's those two things just combined, a spinach coffee. It gets you all the good nutrients and stuff you need and energy. So it took you a while to get where I was going.
Well, it's also delicious butter. So it's like also like a donut, right?
Yeah. So this is something we've tinkered with a lot and we have strong opinions on this now. It's not the same opinions that everyone who's preaching keto will have.
Right.
Some people will say limit your fat if you're trying to lose weight. I don't agree with that. I think you want to eat a lot of fat. Eating a lot of fat makes the diet sustainable. You still have to be conscious of your overall calorie intake if you're trying to lose weight, but I think it should be in a proportion of high fat. So like, let's say you're eating 2,000 calories a day, 75% fat, 20% protein. If you go down to 1,600 calories to try to lose weight, I think you should be doing it in the same ratio. So 75% fat, 20% protein. You don't just cut all of those calories from fat. Like we've tried all this stuff. We've tried very high protein, relatively high protein, and then super high fat. Basically, the higher the fat you go, the better you feel. The one thing is though, like the higher protein you go, maybe the fuller you'll feel, but not necessarily like higher energy. So that's the trade-off. In an ideal world, you're going to feel better with higher fat. It's not even an ideal world. It's the real world. You're going to feel better with higher fat.
But like you said, this is our take on it from our experience. Like higher fat doesn't work as well for you as it does for us. Then that's cool too. Like do what works best for you. And all of everything we talk about always revolves around experimenting with your own macros, with your own workouts, with your own habits or whatever, and making it work for you.
Our channel is only things we've personally experienced, and then we're sharing them with you.
Yes.
It's not what the internet's experienced. It's not what the Google search results have experienced. It's our own experiences. We pretty much test every single thing that we talk about. Number 12, be accountable. Huge. This is the biggest part of life. Being accountable with yourself. We don't talk about this a lot. We mainly just talk about the how-to of a keto diet, but this is just key to anything. Like how much do you hold yourself accountable? How honest are you with yourself? Where is there a disconnect between what you're actually doing and what you're telling yourself you're doing?
If I'm going to be honest, it seems like a lot of people pass the accountability onto the cashier,
We just got an email today. I bought a GNC lean shake. The GNC worker told me it was good for low carb diets. Guess he lied. No. You bought the GNC lean shake. It's your fault.
Yeah.
It's just being accountable in all aspects. Like extreme accountability will really get you far.
And if you can't do it on your own, find a partner, find a Facebook group, join Instagram, use your husband or your wife or your kids to help you stay accountable. Because if you're falling short because of excuses, or you're eating extra but you're not adding it into MyFitnessPal, so you're just going off of MyFitnessPal, you're not going to hit your goals.
There's so many hacks you can employ to be more accountable too. Like there's just tons of life factors we've set up in our favor. So like we're doing a YouTube channel. We have a coach who's helping us do this cut. Like that's not something we could just get up out of bed one day and say, let's do a 3-month cut.
Right.
We wouldn't be successful. But we have all these like factors that are leading us to be successful. Like there's no chance we can fail now. So there's a lot of things you can do personally like that. Like I know people do diet bets.
Yeah.
They have just accountability on Instagram, tell their friends. Like once you make things public, you are better at doing them as opposed to just even like writing things down as opposed to just having this idea in your head of what you're going to do. That's the 12 mistakes you're making on a keto diet.
With 2 bonus.
2 bonus. Let us know what other mistakes you guys have made. Put comments below. We can get a little archive of all of the keto dieting mistakes.
So the newbies can learn from it. Love ya.
Oh, while we're on the topic of top 10s, in the description below, I'm going to link our best 10 recipes of 2017 ebook. It's a free download. You guys can get that. That is our top 10 recipes of last year as voted on by you guys, everyone who makes our recipes.
All right, guys. We'll check you later.
Check you later. That's a Dazed and Confused quote.